Alright, imagine this. You're sitting outside, sipping your coffee, scrolling through your phone, when suddenly, everything just stops. Not time, not gravity, but something way bigger. The Earth is no longer orbiting the Sun. Just like that, our planet has gone from a perfectly balanced celestial dance partner to a confused rock floating in space. Now, you might be thinking, well, at least we're not spinning out of control or getting flung into deep space. And technically, you'd be right. The Earth's orbit has stopped. We're no longer careening around the Sun at 30 kilometers per second. But if you think that sounds like a good thing, well, I have some bad news. Because here's the catch. Just because Earth's orbit has stopped doesn't mean the Sun suddenly forgot about us. Gravity is still very much a thing. And without that forward motion keeping us in a stable orbit, there's only one direction left to go: straight down. Okay, not down, down. More like inward. See, up until this moment, the only reason we haven't plummeted directly into the Sun is because of orbital velocity. It's the same reason you don't immediately fall to the ground when you jump. You've got momentum. Only in our case, that momentum is keeping the entire planet from taking a fiery nosedive. But now we're in a whole different situation. The moment Earth stops orbiting, the Sun's gravity takes over, and we start falling. Fast. First, it might not seem like a big deal. It would take months before we actually reach the Sun, so for a little while, life might feel surprisingly normal. But make no mistake, things are about to go very wrong. First off, say goodbye to your seasons. No more summer, no more winter, just an increasingly toasty apocalypse. Why? Because our entire climate system is built around the fact that we orbit the Sun at a relatively stable distance of about 150 million kilometers. But the closer we get, the hotter things become. At first, we might not even notice. A few extra degrees here and there. Maybe you start wondering why your ice cream melts a little too quickly. But give it a few weeks, and suddenly, every day is like stepping into an oven. Crops start failing. Water sources begin evaporating. Deserts expand. And then comes the real problem, our atmosphere. See, Earth has a delicate balance when it comes to temperature regulation. The Sun's heat gets absorbed by the land and oceans, but some of it is reflected back into space. However, as we get closer to the Sun, that balance breaks. The oceans begin to boil. The air becomes thick with moisture. And the heat, it just keeps climbing. By the time we've fallen halfway to the Sun, about a month or so in, temperatures will have risen to levels that make even the hottest summer days seem like a cool breeze. We're talking hundreds of degrees Celsius. And at that point, it's not just uncomfortable, it's unlivable. Cities would become ghost towns. Power grids would fail. And unless you've built yourself a high-tech bunker with its own air conditioning system, survival becomes a rapidly fading option. But let's say you do survive. Maybe you find a way to shield yourself from the relentless heat. You still have one big problem: Earth itself. Because as we fall toward the Sun, we're not just dealing with rising temperatures, we're dealing with gravitational chaos. See, space isn't empty. It's filled with all kinds of cosmic debris. Asteroids, comets, dust, all of which are usually held in place by the Sun's gravity. But now that we're moving inward, we're passing through parts of the solar system that were never meant to be on our travel itinerary. The result? A dramatic increase in asteroid collisions. Some might be small, just the occasional space rock plummeting through the sky. Others? Let's just say that if a 6-mile-wide asteroid wiped out the dinosaurs, imagine what happens when multiple massive space rocks start raining down on us like cosmic artillery. And then, there's the final stretch, the last week before we hit the Sun. At this point, the planet is completely unrecognizable. The oceans are gone. The atmosphere is a swirling mess of superheated gas. The ground itself has started melting. And even if you somehow could survive all of this, it wouldn't matter. Because eventually, we'd reach the point of no return. Within the last few hours, Earth would enter the Sun's outer layers, its corona, where temperatures reach millions of degrees. And at that point, our planet wouldn't just be falling. It would be disintegrating. The crust would crack, the mantle would erupt, and in one final, spectacular moment, Earth would be completely obliterated. So, to sum it up, If Earth stops orbiting the sun, we don't freeze, we don't float away, and we definitely don't just stay in place. Instead, we begin an unstoppable plunge straight toward our own fiery demise. And the worst part? There wouldn't be anything we could do to stop it. So maybe let's just appreciate our orbit for what it is, shall we? If you enjoyed this wild thought experiment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive into absurd science. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.